A year ago, I got a call that there was an opportunity to rescue this calf and her mother from a slaughterhouse just outside of Los Angeles. And I'd never, it's strange thinking about this, but I'd never been close to livestock before. So I went down to the slaughterhouse, and the owner had decided that he wanted to kind of allow us to rescue this animal. In addition to not, having never been around livestock, I'd never been in a slaughterhouse either before. So one of the first things that I noticed when we drove up was the hides of animals hanging on this fence, and there were hundreds upon hundreds, probably thousands of hides, which is obviously made me very uncomfortable. And just the smell and the energy, there's something about it that makes you very uneasy. And there was an area where there were several cattle that were cordoned off, and they were basically there in preparation to be taken inside of the slaughterhouse. And then off to the side was another enclosure in which I saw a cow and the baby. And the baby, the calf, seemed, understandably, almost kind of frozen in fear. And almost sickly, to be honest. At first was like kneeling down and away from its mom, kind of off into the corner, and imagine it was frightened and exhausted and dehydrated, who knows what. And so to see this calf so vulnerable, and then in order to transport the cows, I learned that they had to be transported separately in separate compartments. So we had to get the mom first. And so as we walk into the enclosure, the mom just immediately just urinates, clearly out of just fear, an uncontrollable fear. So you really get a sense of what they must be feeling and how terrifying their lives have been thus far, and the transportation from, I imagine, the feedlots or wherever they were kind of raised and being trucked over to the slaughterhouse. And of course, hearing the sounds of the slaughter that are happening inside, and seeing the cows that they knew being pulled away and brought inside, clearly the smells, they have to understand what's happening. I was told that the best way to help usher the calf would be just to actually pick her up, which I was afraid that it would frighten her more. You can only imagine being picked up and separated from her mother. So I was nervous, and I had to tell myself, try not to make her any more nervous. Like, try to calm your nerves and your anxiety. Just try to be like neutral and as much like kindness as possible. And I managed to pick her up. And thankfully, Farm Sanctuary and Gene Bauer had offered to take them in, where they have several other cows that have been rescued. And so they had a place that they could go, a forever home. Farm Sanctuary had offered me the opportunity to name the cows, and I asked my sister Liberty if it was okay if I named them after her and her son Indigo, who passed away several years ago. She said yes, and so I named them Liberty and Indigo. We drove up there and I went with my mom. They had to be quarantined for several weeks or a month. So I thought that I would kind of see them in the field immediately with the other cows, but then learn like, oh no, they have to go through this quarantine process, which of course you understand. So there was this great relief in knowing that they had been rescued from this factory of death, that they'd been rescued from imminent slaughter. And yet I felt a little bit unresolved because I wanted to see them completely liberated. I wanted to see them like as free as possible and with other cows.